Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for showing up. We're down to our final presentation of the Dutch Pinball Open Expo 2025, which is for the Dutch animation team, if I'm not mistaken, that is working for Jersey Jack Pinball. Please give it up for Jean-Paul de Win, Olaf, and excuse me, I'm not familiar, Lars and John. So,
Thank you. So there is foreign people, so I'll do it in English, right? Thanks for showing up. This year I brought a bigger team. It's you know it's a big license. Jersey Jack finally came out with the Harry Potter license, which was anticipated for many years, and we needed a bigger team because there was a lot of work to do. It's in a shorter amount of time. And so we had Olaf, who was lead animator on Elton John. Lars is working with Olaf in the studio. He's very good 3D user and cinema 4D user. And Johnny, I know from used to be a colleague during my television years, and is also working in 3D and animation. So over the years, Johnny helped me out in some small aspects, but this is the first game where we worked with such a big team. Until I guess Elton John, I did like 80 or 90% of all the animations in Jersey Jack games, and now we're spreading it up in teams, or this was a big collaboration, as you will see. Um, so we're back to three models. We have a cheap model. We have the arcade. We we have an arcade version, which is the less expensive version. So no topper, no inner art blades, but the games, the playfields play all the same. So there's nothing taken out of the lower tier model. So they share the same artwork, the middle, the Wizard edition and the arcade edition, and the collector's edition. Yeah, it's the artwork done by Mina Lima, which I'll talk about in a. This is collector's edition done by Mina Lima. It's a studio based in London. They are actually responsible for the book covers of the original Harry Potter books, and they did a lot of actual assets in the movies themselves. So they created items in the movies. I visited Mina Lima. They have a store in London where they upstairs they work on their illustrations, and they have a team of like 10 people. And so last year in the summer, I was visiting London on a vacation, and Eric arranged that I could visit them and talk to the so Mina Lima is are two artists who started this company, but they are now they're more the higher ups, and they don't do all the work themselves anymore. They have all these illustrators. So it's um it's an entire big studio which still earns a lot of money from the Harry Potter license. So here you see some of the things they made in the movies, like props and actual uses. So Eric uh, is a big Harry Potter fan. Eric Meunier is the designer of the game, and he came up with the idea to ask them for the artwork. Um, Personally, I was not very a fan of their work to put on a pinball machine, but apparently it was a good choice because a lot of people like the collector's edition, and so that's a good thing. I was wrong in that sense because I advised not to do that, but they did a great job. And then we have the Wizard an arcade edition, which share artwork done by Jasper. Jasper was not able to come today, but he worked on other games, which I'll show as well. But so he did this art package and the Playfield, which is also used in the collector's edition. Um, so here you see the three models and the same sharing the same Playfield artwork. Only the apron different. Also the inner art blades also done by Mina Lima. And yeah, I guess we didn't choose to also let them do the artwork on the playfield because it's something it's pretty intricate work to do a playfield. So first we have Jesper on art, who's not here. So what he did is during his internship in my studio, he did the collector's edition back glass for Guns N' Roses. He also did the inner art blades, which turned out great because it really fits with the art done by Dane Henry, who did the playfield. And so Jasper was asked also to do the artwork on the Godfather, just the playfield art. And then so we Eric wanted to have Jasper do an entire package for Harry Potter. So this is how we start. This is the playfield, the canvas, without anything on it, and this is where you have to fill in all the spots and fill it with art, but also fill it um, with titles on the inserts and arrows and all that. So that's something I do. Jasper is not so familiar with graphic design and yeah. So this is the layer I created, and then his art layer goes below this layer. So here is the playfield without the insert art. Um, and if you combine that, you'll get the end result with inserts and art. Um, Here we see the side art on the. So Eric really wanted to have the bad guys on one side and the good guys on the other side, which and then we have the darker green side and the warmer tones and the good guys on the other side. And I think it turned out really well um, and worked by me. So my role in this project was art direction. I did work on the art as well, on animation. So my role is to, I created. So this is the flow chart. You see how many rules there are in this game, and it's my sort of job to explain from to bring the rules to the player and explain the rules to the player, and that goes in many steps like a flow chart. But then you also see that we keep the same design on the play field, the same layout for these particular inserts, and then on the screen as well. So there's a connection to all those, and that's yeah, we got to keep it in line, right? Um, so here's in that this is just an example of um, the actual style guide images we have, and then Lars modeled these models for us. Olaf animates them or makes them, applies the sorry. Yeah. And and then I get these renders back and create animations within, we call that sort of post. This we do in After Effects. And you see a rejected proposal where they didn't want like the green, they didn't like the swirl, they didn't like the circle splash coming out, and the titles over their Horcruxes. So please redo it and don't and and this is the result. In my opinion, it's a bit, it's much cleaner, or I mean, and it's less interesting. It's yeah. So you see what we can do, but then there's this is probably also the most difficult licensor we worked with. From my 11 games I worked on for Jersey Jack, this was by far the toughest to get everything approved. And also approval time was really long. So once you have created something and you have to wait for a long time to make changes, in the meantime you're working on something when you're waiting, and you have 6 months later you get your feedback. In some cases, yes, yeah. So that's too long for a game to get feedback. So that was not ideal. Let's call it that. Um, so this is okay. It's paused. Nice. So we in the Hobbit. Oh no, not in the Hobbit. In Harry Potter. So we play. We also had to tell the story linear. So they don't want the studio didn't want to mix up the story, so we had to cut the movie, but to still tell it linear. And we were happily able to at least chop up or the linear. We explained that it's going to be boring if you play a pinball machine and always have to start at the first movie, and then it's going to be a battle to reach the sixth movie. So we were able to mix that up, and you play movie six linearly, or you play movie four linearly. So we chopped up all those movies in 11 scenes. So 5 scenes of the fall term, 5 scenes of the spring term, and the final exam is for each movie is a battle against Voldemort. Um, so the sixth member in the Dutch team was my daughter. She's here. She edited all the movies and prepared, like we show 30 seconds of each scene. That's our sort of max time. So if you don't get to make your shots, then you continue to the next scene. So she had to make decisions and cut them up to what is interesting in 30 seconds, and then the next scene. So in total, she cut up 60 scenes, and then the 6 times the Voldemort scenes. A lot of work, of course. And um, so this is the intro where you start your movie. And in the top corner, you see an icon of the scene you're playing at the moment and the rules, what you have to shoot for. Um, and in the center, you see the movie playing. And then you see a timer, what is it, an hourglass. When that runs out, or in this case, the scene is completed, you get to, this is your shot made, and the scene is well done, and you go to your next scene, Whomping Willow, and so on, and so on. Um, so that is just that section, but it's to show how much how much of the movie is actually in there. There's obviously 8 movies and a lot to tell. Um, so we have those 6 movies. Then the seventh movie is one of the wizard modes, and the Battle of Hogwarts, the actual ending. No, the destroying the Horcruxes is the the super wizard mode. Um, uh, that uses the footage of the 8th movie. So you won't destroy Voldemort just during the game. It's actual the end of the game. So this is okay. So another part of my what I did is I designed the topper for the Wizard edition. This was one of the ideas that I present. Also, my previous if we work in these layers, but we just decided not to use this one because on the back glass is already a Hogwarts, so it would be a duplication. So the other concept was this uh, Quidditch topper, and which brings a lot more color to the topper, and um, because of the house flags. So I modeled this in 3D, applied the textures, and so you create all the pieces to create your final artwork. Um, because you don't have these assets in this exact angle you want to have it, so you create it by the programs you use, right? So this is then a presentation to Warner Brothers, how it looks on the game, and yeah, it's what you see on the game now. And then we have some cool little details in the game, which you probably don't notice if you see the game at first glance. On the staircase, we have lenticular images, which shift in they shift in 2 frames, like the moving images or the paintings in the staircase in the movie. Um, so I took frame captured from the movie 2 frames because that's all it is, and then so when the staircase turns, you can see this effect. It's a small detail, but yeah, it's all about theme integration. But as you can see, the resolution is pretty low. Also, what I experienced is that because it's so small, it's really hard to get it bright. You cannot get get it really bright, and so they turn out pretty dark. But there were some issues here as well on approval on likenesses. Like we had they came up with the story that the actors in the paintings were had a special approval thing. So and also that kept and we kept waiting and waiting for approval on this, and I sent them this picture that said, well, on the prints you can actually it's even hard to even recognize these people. Is that okay then? And then it got approved, and we were like, yes, it's so tiny and minor. Another cool detail Eric came up with is to cover up the spotlights we use on the game with decals. So a lot of metal is covered up by more art, and so these I mocked up these as well, and it's something you probably don't notice at first, but yeah, you'll see later on, and when you really inspect the game. Next up is Olaf.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks. Yeah, where to start? Maybe it's good to tell a little bit about my introduction with Jersey Jack. I've been introduced by Jean-Paul. It was during Wonka. He needed, the Oompa Loompas to animate, and he thought, yeah, maybe Olaf can help out with this. So yeah, he called me, and Lars is sitting next to me, and we collaborate on that. And he's very technical with 3D, and I'm doing the designs and stuff. I said, well, let's make it work. So we worked on Willy Wonka, and that went very well. Then few what is it, a few months, a year later, you called me if I knew somebody who could help out with Elton John, because you were working at Godfather. And he said, yeah, you're probably too busy, because I was doing a lot of commercial work and stuff. And I said, well, wow, I'd love to work on that. It's very colorful, and I think it's a very creative thing to work on. Well, and then I became the lead on that game. So that was great. After that, I helped out with some work Jean-Paul did for Avatar, and I started as a lead on Harry Potter. So that was fantastic. Here, I'm gonna higher that microphone a bit. Yeah, so that was fantastic, and I'm not sure if there's some sound, because I think is the sound working? Oh, oh yeah. Oh, there's no sound. Okay, well, let's do it this way. it will work. I think so. No, I think it's interesting to just show some UI stuff because I was working on the UI, and the UI involves a lot of work, and just show some bit of it, and just dive into just one part of the UI a little bit further, and just explain a little bit about that. Well, in a nutshell, that is all the work that's been done the the last few months. But yeah, as you see, before it becoming something like this, it all starts with this. And I think it's interesting to show this because this is the input I got from Joe Katz at the time. He was sitting there in his office, and next to him, he had this first build of the machine. Eric just delivered that. He's still walking around with his screwdriver and fixing things and just working on that. And Joe, he's a very experienced pinball player and of course very experienced programmer. He's starting to play the game and see what kind of shots he can make and what could be interesting, and just applying rules to certain things. And he just writing things up on screen, But this is a great input.
This is a programmer art.
Yeah, that's what we call it. It's programmer art. And I worked with him very closely on Elton John because he was the lead on that game as well. So we worked on a daily basis with each other, and we did the same thing on this game. Yeah, so this is the starting point. And one of the things that I started working on was the first basic layout. Let's say, if you see this, hopefully the other don't animate anymore. It's just no movement because it's better to, well, okay, no movement. Oh, hopefully not. Um, because if it's moving, then you don't see the progression. But let's see what happens. Well, at first it's just the layout, just a very basic layout. It's inspired by yeah, the architecture of the building, and at the lower part you see the first score, because that is something that needs to be close to the logo. It just had a little bit of that hint of the Harry Potter thing. If you zoom into that, you still see some notches of, what is it, wrecking of the, how do you call it, some dents and wear on it. So yeah, that's it. And we tested a couple of them. Oh, this is great, JP. It's working. And you see, so we tested a couple of things. Okay, hey, I can do things with it, the corners, but I wanted to focus on the lower left part. So this is the starting point. And then that is the Quidditch area. Then we started to create all kinds of elements, like for example this chest. We know that we wanted to something like this, but there's other positions as well that is possible. Like the beater, the chaser, the keeper, all these kind of elements, and they're all created in 3D with a quality to it, so it can also be used bigger on screen, but it even has that much detail that it can be used on artwork on the playfield as well. So it can have multiple purposes. And I think that is interesting. Same thing we did with the scoreboard. So yeah, this is a translation of the scoreboard in the movie. Translated it to this. It's much more compact, so it can be placed in a corner. And yeah, but there needs to be a timer there as well. So I thought maybe, let's do something with the Nixie lights. Well, there is no electricity in Hogwarts. It's only candles. So yeah, let's do something analog. Well, no, this doesn't work either. So then it became this, just very simple. It's the scoreboard with applied graphics on it. So you take it out of the, the environment. Just don't touch that. Apply on top a layer. Um, yeah. Yeah.
You mean that the licensor came
Oh,
back with
also, yeah,
came
that's
back with
also a thing. Licensor is also very involved, of course, and they also tell these things like, okay, there's no electricity and things. So you during working with the licensor, you learn a lot about your license and the theme. Well, this is a translation of a spinner translated into that same feel of a Quidditch play field. And these are two types of play fields because first you need to earn your position. So that's a tryout. And then you need to start a game. And before that's happening, it's just an empty arena. And when the match is starting, it is a full, with all the curtains and stuff, all the graphics on there. So that's the inspiration. And we took that and we just made our own 3D stadium. And the great thing is it is smaller than that in the actual play, the UI, but you still feel all those details when watching it. And that's what I truly love with pinball. You guys are playing them many times and also collecting them, having that at your home. And you will see those details, maybe not the first time, but if you played it 100 time or the 200th time, then you're starting there and you see that detail of a flying player around the arena as well. So it's not only the clapping audience; it's also the flying people of guys. Yeah, some flags. So yeah, that is what's happening. Well, this is something for the tryout. So that's the first step, earning your position. And that is that arena you see, but you're a little bit outside, so you're not entering the arena, but you're just close by. And I thought, let's use a school board with chalkboard to dive into that Hogwarts school theme combined with, so yeah, that's all the thinking behind it, and I think it's interesting to talk about it. Well, this is the rule with all the things. See, so it's not only is also a border around video that's happening. See, here is the moment you unlock a match or you start a match. You see, here it's happening. Then we have the intro of the match and some footage, some montage, and some goals, of course, to emphasize it and make it more celebratory. There are some little effects around it as well. And here's that scoreboard and the build out. You see at the left, towards you have to restart a match, so it's empty again. And come on, let's restart it again. This is the multi-ball because when you're doing very well, you unlock multi-ball. So yeah, that is also great about this game. It's very deep. There's a lot of layers, so a lot of graphics to create. And here you see some inspirations. So there are balloons. I see some searchlights, a specific arena, and also some metal. So now let's see how that's been translated. Oh yeah, this is also interesting. The scoreboard. I thought here we are on the money. This will be for a licensor all okay, So you send this over. You see the scoreboard. It's been matching. It's matching the scoreboard some way of the scoreboard in the movie, but they liked the wood better, so they said no, that needs to be wood. So it's been changed. It's been changed. So that's the reason why it is why it is. Uh, and this is the moment, multi-ball is lit, and now we see that it's the intro. And then here the searchlights see. And the cool thing with this is you can change from Ireland to Bulgaria, and Ireland has their own jackpots, and Bulgaria also, so you can switch. And here are some. You see the balloons? They're here. So yeah, and the searchlights and everything. And when you see some footage, you see that border. It's now in a different style. See, so it's that is coming from the stage of the arena there. So yeah, a lot of love also. Yeah, I have to say that because when you're working on it and it's getting better and better, you push it and yeah, we need to have a better border. Let's create the yeah, yeah. Okay, well. Other things is also interesting because we were really fond of. I was really fond of this. It's Green Gods. So we're now not talking about the lower left corner, but it's that middle part at the right. And that was for collecting a value. Joe had a great idea for that. So it was collecting a value, and then you can cash out that value. There was also an animation being made for that already. See some money in the bank, and then the bank is that, and then it's closed. You cannot do that anymore, and then it opens again, and you can collect. Well, they said no, this is not okay because in the world of Harry Potter, it's not about collecting money, and we're not okay. That's fine. So we need to come up with something else, and we did. So now we're collecting knowledge, and it's a bookshelf. It's also cool in a way, I did a lot of effort on those. It's not in this animation, but it's going in, and another book is taken out, and then it's a book of. Sometimes it's a school year, or it is the Death Eater, and well, it has all his reasoning behind it, but I think it is still became something nice. In the background, you see that is the Great Hall, and it's not taken from the movie. That's 3D, so it's not no AI. It's 3D. You have to say that nowadays, uh, because you know. So yeah, this is just some, and now it's very dark, but it's lit, and then the candles, everything, and then. So yeah, that is the background, and I think it's cool. Maybe sometimes, if there is some time, we can make it the Christmas version of that Great Hall, but we have to be fast then. Sorry, next year maybe. Um, yeah, and something else. Maybe it's also nice to talk about. Oh yeah, that's this one. It's also been what is it? Yeah, rejected is a better word, rejected, and because of a very understandable reason, but it was a fun thing to. Oh, oh, well, yeah, it's one. Yeah, it's a tilt. It's tilt animation. You should not tilt instead of you should not. Well,
Yeah, so what they didn't like
yeah,
about that is that you cannot replace the text in the movie.
yeah,
So we put the text tilt on the hand, but we
yeah,
did keep her
yeah,
and the story behind tilting, and she is also in the playfield in the tilt area inserts.
yeah,
So when you tilt, you still see this, and then there is a title over it, and so
yeah. Correct. So yeah. But nevertheless, it was a fun ride, and it was great to work on. So really grateful to be part of it. So thanks, JP, for.
Thank you. At least I don't have to do all the talking anymore. Um, Johnny, do you want to talk about your work? Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm Johnny. I brought to this team by JP a couple of themes ago. I worked on Toy Story, we did also the Lord of the Rings, and now we're at Harry Potter. Hobbit as well. Also Lord of the Rings, Hobbit. No, what I did was a couple of more insert stuff. So you get awards for hitting some targets and stuff. You just saw a moment ago the hourglass. Normally we get some assets from the licensor, and they give us a 3D model, and you maybe need to shade it and lighten it. But this time we didn't, or not for this one. Um, this one I only had like a second or maybe 2 seconds of clips from the movie where you could see the hourglass. So I needed to make a 3D model out of those couple of seconds and as a reference. And that turns out on this. On the left you see, it's not moving now right now, but on the left you see like the basic model, how you build up a model of for the hourglass of this one, and then on the right you see like how you can shade it and how the glass can work with refracting and reflecting, as well as the snakes with the greens and stuff. This is only also happening for the potions. Some potions awards you can get throughout the game. You get different types of potions, but also for this one, you had a couple of designs of how they're looking, but we didn't get the 3D assets, so that's why I made them as well. On the left side again, you see how it is made, how it's built up in phases and polygons, and on the right side it's shaded with the glass textures, and it's a little bit wear and worn. I mean, sorry. Um, and for the rest, I also did like title animations. For this one, example is like an extra ball. It happens like maybe at 3 or 5 seconds max, but it's a lot of work because you need to build up it in several stages. First, I started with the 3D title. I needed to have the 3D title as a matte to have like an effect on it, that it goes from the red feel to the silver feel. But then again, also in this example, you see Harry Potter, with his elbow over it, and therefore I needed a mat of his arm movement, so it feels like that the title is more behind it, and it feels more like together in the scene. It was on the edge because the lights were against putting things in the scene or feeling like it's in the scene. So therefore, it's not like shaded with a shadow on it underneath it.
They might not have seen that we put the tire, yeah, like the cape going over. You know, sometimes they don't catch these things, so
Yeah,
that's nice.
it's a small detail. Sometimes we also use like we can make like how do you call it, effects, like wizard and dust particles and stuff. But sometimes we also use stock imagery. That's more based on footage. In the middle screen you see like a magic feel coming up, and I also use that for to make it more more magical. um, Here you can see it in total with different animation. So you can see there's like only a couple of seconds, but it's a lot of work to even do a couple of seconds. Here you can also see it with multiball from Owls. We had a clip from the two guys. Sorry, I got the names. The Weasley brothers. Um, it ended towards another shot, but we needed to stay there with the camera, so I decided to make a scenery with just an image to make it really simple and fill it out with all the effects with the fireworks they're throwing at everybody. And you see that in laid up, and this is the final image.
Johnny did the intros for all 5 multi-balls, right?
Yeah.
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 There is we have owls. We have what else?
Hogwarts.
Hogwarts multi-ball, Explore Hogwarts multi-ball,
Death Eater.
Death Eater
Yeah.
multi-ball,
Trio.
trio,
No.
golden trio. Oh yeah, that's
Oh,
Olaf's.
that's
Yeah,
one we
yeah,
did.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
I also did like titles for Protego. It's basically workflow. It's the same thing. Start with a 3D title, and I need to create some mats to do the effects on the title as well, to make it disappear from of to nothing. I mean, but for the Protego's also the thing you have like a shield coming up. I needed to make an effect for that too, and all that to combine together makes it all thing the Protego. But even with this one, it's like 3 seconds, but it takes a lot of time again to make those titles. And that's yeah, a small part I did for Harry Potter. Sorry, helicopter. Yeah. Now it's to turn to Lars.
Well, thank you. All right, my name is Lars. I've been working for JJP also since Willy Wonka. I actually did the facial rig of the Oompa Loompas. And from there on, I was helping Olaf a lot with most of the 3D modeling, and he polished it into something really cool. But the cool thing is, with this project, it was the first time that also I did some sculpting. So in Elton John, you had this cute little alligator or crocodile from Crocodile Rock, and that was still made by another sculptor. And it was my task to actually unsculpt it to a animatable object which could play guitar. And from there on, they said, "Hey, maybe you have some experience with sculpts." I said, "Yeah, but not in this way. Can we do it another way?" So from there on, I am actually creating the sculpts for the pinball machine as well as the 3D animations. And the cool thing is that many of the sculpts which are part of the pinball machine are also used inside the animations. So if you see the snitch flying around across the screen, it's the same snitch that you will find on the plunger, which is really cool. Now, when it comes to creating these sculpts, sometimes we have a lot of luck. This is a 3D scan which was provided by the licensor of the sorting hat. And it's kind of detailed, as you can see. Talking about 20 million polygons or something. So in this case, it is very easy to create a sculpt out of it because I just stick a screw underneath it and that I'm done. So this is a very easy thing to do, but of course that's not always the case. So let's go to another one, and this is pretty cool. These are the ones which you will see on the Playfield as well, and these are also 3D scans of the original props used in the movie. So you could say that if you buy a pinball machine of Harry Potter, you have the best replicas of their wands as well. So in this case, you can see, well, we have all these the wands. There are two things that we needed to change. Of course, we needed to have mounting points so they could fit on the entire construction. But also here at the tip of these wands, you can see we added some lights. So we needed to find some kind of construction of a wire going through those wands, which was interesting to do. And in some cases, you have to completely start from scratch. Now, for the Quidditch area on the playfield, Eric had the idea of just having a broomstick flying around. The licensor said, no, you can't just have a broomstick. A broomstick in Harry Potter can't fly without a person sitting on top of it. So we started off with a person which I would like to call Jackie from Jersey Jack. And the first thing that we needed to do was change her pose. And that's a cool thing you might not know about all these sculpts, which are inside a pinball machine, but it's different than 3D printing. I like to 3D print. I'm a bit of a modeler myself, but if you're doing something like this, it's going to be very expensive. every hole that you see here is a problem when you're making a mold. So we need to get a pose with as little holes as possible in the model. So a ball would be best. Yeah. So Eric is actually acting out all these poses for me. I haven't got videos about that. But what we actually did to have the clothing acting correctly is I actually went to a clothing design program. So right here you can see how the clothing is actually working on the character, and I'm using this as a reference to do the rest of the sculpt. So from here we got Jackie laying on her broomstick, holding a ball very tight so there are no holes, so it's cheaper. So, and here you can see we actually have some wind simulation. Here we go. So this is the pose of the character while it's in 3D. From there on, it's a matter of making sure that every objects are completely neat to each other, and we are also defining where all the screws and the mounting points are. So right here you can see we got the final model. And for people who haven't seen Eric's presentation on Pinball Expo 25, yeah, that had to go. We're not allowed to have the 11 on the back of Jackie. It was the 11th pinball machine of Jersey Jack. Eric really wanted to have it on it, but we couldn't because Quidditch doesn't have 11 players. Well, anyway, from there on, we actually do some 3D printing, and the sculpts are actually tested inside the prototypes of the pinball machines. So what you can see here is I already split up the model in different parts, so it can actually be, well, molded in the factory. And here we have a final result of Jackie flying around. Now, here you can see the different parts. So these are parts that you can just stick on and being glued together, so it's easier to paint and easier to mold. With this model, we also create something called a color guide. In the factory where Jackie is being produced, they need to know what to paint her with. So I came up with all the Pantone colors and just split it out over multiple pages, so you know exactly what color is being used on the sculpt. And as a extra reference, I love this part. It's cool. Yeah, I'm a big Gundam fan and I like to paint my models. So I actually supply, or from the States they supply, a painted model as well to the factory. So when the sculpts are being created, they can actually, they can actually see it on hand. Now, I cheated a bit because this one is not painted for the factory. This one is now in possession of the Dutch Pinball Museum. So I actually gave it to Jared. So if you want to see it, maybe it's on display, I don't know, but he has it. Okay then. Anyway, this is the final result of Jackie flying around on the pinball part. And well, it took quite a bit to get to this point, and it became the holidays. So at a certain point, I surprised Eric with this little gem. So all these parts are being created, and Jean-Paul provided some really cool images of also some other sculpts that I did for the Death Eater, and here they are mounted inside the factory. So yeah, for this project it was really cool to work on the sculpts as well as the 3D models for the animation, and yeah, it's just excellent to work with such a great team of people who really put up the level of, oh yeah, on 120. So yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I added this picture for you, yes, to show you how cool it is that you to see your toys being duplicated and actually being, you know, mass produced. Yeah, this is the factory in Chicago, um, which I visit once a year. Um, didn't go this year. I have And so for now, this is my last project for Jersey Jack. I've put some people in place here. I think they're doing a great job, but I needed some time off, and gonna focus a bit on myself and other projects, and yeah, we'll see where that goes. And I'll always be connected with Jersey Jack, and I'm always welcome back. That's at least that's my that's what I think, what I've been told. So no, it's been wonderful, but yeah, it's after 14 years, it's been maybe some time for something else, and yeah, so that's that, and questions and maybe answers. We'll no, no, no.
I have one question. The sculpts on the topper, compared to the toppers for games like Avatar and Elton John, it looks kind of cheap. Maybe like something Stern would have done.
Jack is there? No.
Oh, I didn't see. I didn't see him.
No, so I guess you might want to say something. So I I must say I agree with you. The hard thing about being in doing art direction from a distance, like Europe to US, it's hard to actually see the the results, and this thing came together. Yeah, the idea was created in the US, and then we have to create it and do this vacuum forming. If we would have seen the model, in time, or actually get, because it is then back created in the US. Um, you need, if you see it in time, you can make the changes you like to do, or even take different steps and do it in a different way, and then vacuum forming. So in that sense, it's also one of the reasons why I thought yeah, it's great to be an art director for Jersey Jack Pinball, but I think it's better to have one in Chicago to see printed art coming in and judge it by its colors, and not send it over to my office in Nijmegen and I see it and then make the changes, but they and then send the art printed in the US again to Nijmegen. It just doesn't work as efficient as it should be. So I yeah, I think the topper could have been better, but yeah, maybe the next one will be better. Uh, hey, the Irish guy.
Yeah, the mic is over there, so I'll just speak up.
Yeah.
I spent my whole talk, or this whole talk, thinking about questions, but I couldn't think of any because we've answered absolutely every question I had.
Hmm.
What I wanted to say is, I felt that when LCDs came out in pinball, there was a lot of inconsistency in design. Oh, thank you very much. I felt there was a lot of inconsistency in design. No judgment on anyone. There was people moving up from DMD to LCD, probably didn't know design language, but as an animator myself, one thing I really like is the visual consistency of what you're actually making. Things like dialed in really, it just really impressed me. And I think it's a thing, it's an area that's, I want to say overlooked, because in pinball there's so many different areas: manufacturing, design, artwork. But I really think, I have no question, so I want to congratulate you on bringing really great fidelity to animation design. And yeah, that's all I have. So, and also, I've just heard that you're leaving after 14 years. So, congratulations. The best luck to you and your team. But thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank
That's
you.
it.
So I had the privilege of you telling me stories about what is allowed and not allowed by licenses. Why are they such a pain in the you know what? Do you think?
It's mainly to protect their license. It's to protect what everybody is doing with. Let's say you wouldn't have to pay anything for the license, and yeah, do whatever you want to do with it. Then it will take its own, its own. How do you say that? direction, and everybody starts adding stuff to a license, and that's what you try, what we also did, what you try, and then some licenses are more strict, and some are like, oh yeah, that's a great idea, and there's no harm or no issue with it. But with this license, Harry Potter is still very active and very lively, and they protect it. There is a huge team on protecting everything.
I can get that production bit of it, but
Mm.
I think it sometimes curbs your creative expression a little bit much. If you say, well, there are only 6 Quidditch players and you're not allowed to put 11 on it,
Yeah,
is that
yeah,
like
yeah,
protecting the license?
yeah, yeah,
It
yeah.
sounds to me like nitpicking and yeah,
It is.
yeah.
But
I have one more question. Why have Jersey Jack not instilled into their contracts review durations? I know they really want the Harry Potter license, but waiting 6 months for revisions is really bad for design. Um, is there any type of insight on that?
sorry. So the question is,
Um, so a lot of the times you mentioned that Jersey Jack, or sorry, the licensor would take a long time to come back with
yeah,
revisions.
yeah.
Why have Jersey Jack not brought into their contracts review times with the clients? Obviously they really want these licenses, so we have to play ball.
Yeah,
But I think it's an interesting. I just wonder if you have any insight on that.
yeah. I cannot give too much insight on that. There are contracts, yes, where they say we give feedback within 3 weeks, but it doesn't mean that if after 3 weeks they haven't responded, that they cannot change it. Like, yeah, maybe they are busy with other stuff, but yes, it should, it should work like that. Yeah, yeah. But we even had the occasion where Johnny had the hourglass and the sand. We used white sand, and then they came back. Hey, the sand is green in the movie, um, and I sort of was like, oh shit, I missed that entirely. It should be green, yes. So we changed it to green. We re send it in for approval, and then they were like, ah, the green doesn't really work. Let's make it white. So there they are not consistent in their storytelling. So and that took also another so many weeks, and then let's change it back to another so many weeks. It's
And eventually you lose faith in the client, and then you work less.
yeah,
That's exactly
yeah,
what happens.
yeah, yeah.
Is there a marketplace for licenses, or do you have an idea in
Yeah,
figuring out
yeah.
if the license is available, or
I think there's even shows in Vegas. Yeah, where Jack goes to and meets people of the Warner Brothers and all these studios, and they discuss what licenses are available, and you secure your licenses, and then there's even, yeah, they have they have weeks like, or shows like this to for just licensing people. Yeah.
Games are not always released with full code, so you get updates. Do you guys then make everything until final version, or do you get later on more work? For example, it's now 1.0. For example, 1.1. Do you have then extra work, or how does it work?
If you mean if the code gets updates, maybe in rules, if we get to do more animation work, sometimes, yeah. But most is done in there. There is not going to be, if there's going to be changes in code now, it's mainly bug fixes, scoring adaptions, um, that kind of thing. Yeah. Yeah. What else?
Well, it looks like we're out of questions.
Sure.
So please give your warmest regards and a warm